You are joining us for the weekly Mountain Sky Conference update. You can find out more information at mtnskyumc.org or on our Facebook page.
Welcome to the Mountain Sky Conference weekly update.
It's more important now than ever to support and resource one another as we navigate being the church in these times.
Angie, Zach, and I are part of the conference digital communications team, and we will offer updates each week to let you know what is going on in our conference and to keep us together as we face our new reality.
Despite the challenges of our different contexts, we are in this together.
We encourage you to reach out to us if you have particular questions or topics you would like us to address.
Let's launch this week's update.
Welcome to the weekly Mountain Sky update. This week, we're going to start with SMART goals. And I know everybody's wondering, what in the world are SMART goals? But real quickly, they're simple. They're specific, they're measurable, they're attainable, they're relevant, and they're time-based.
So I started working on my clergy evaluation this week and realized there are SMART goals in our clergy eval this year. So my first thought was, well, I'm transitioning churches. And so how do I make a SMART goal for my current church? And does that even make sense? I'm there for about a month and a half more. And how do I create SMART goals for a church that I'm coming to? So Annie, do you have any insight for those of us that are transitioning and even for those of us that are not transitioning for how we write these SMART goals?
Yeah, I'd love to give you a couple of thoughts. The way I've been thinking about SMART goals in this time is, what is it that you seek to learn during this crisis time, or what have you learned? Where do you want to hone in on new innovations, or maybe even just practical measures that your church can use in the next few months? These are the things that can be your SMART goals this year. There's no expectation to have a plan for normal times right now. SMART goals can really be about the practical ways that you are being the church and seeking to be the church in the times we're living in.
I know that each and every one of us are feeling the longing to come back, to get back to whatever normal is going to be for the church. We're all looking to relaunch, and there's things that we hunger for. We're hungering for the singing, the hugging, the holding hands, and the fellowship hours, but reality is we just can't do that yet. And so as we begin to have conversations with our leadership of our churches and to ask the question what it looks like to come back, we have the opportunity to think creatively in these times.
And the conference crisis management team is working on resources for you to help plan your reopening in your local church. We ask for patience as these will be out on Friday, May 15th. And in the meantime, we ask that you create a team in your local church with your laity to start envisioning what could this reopen look like and what makes sense for your context, and know that we're going to have resources for you on Friday, May 15th.
So I'd like to introduce to you a new member of our staff. Courtney VonLindern joins us as the designer of Next Gen and Inclusiveness Ministries. This has long been part of our vision here in the Mountain Sky Conference, and now we are able to connect Courtney with our Director of Young People's Ministry, Amanda Daniel, and throughout our conference to create circles of young adults on college campuses, of young people, and to partner with churches for inclusive ministries. So welcome, Courtney. Courtney, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your role?
Thank you, Annie, and everyone for welcoming me on board. As mentioned, my name is Courtney. I use they, them, and theirs pronouns, and I am located in Missoula, Montana, and I'm currently pursuing my Master of Divinity at Iliff School of Theology. And I'm super excited to be in this position and be part of this role and the vision for the Mountain Sky Conference, because I firmly believe that it is part of my calling to help the church create more inclusive ministries, especially for those who identify as LGBTQIA+. So in designing my role, this is a brand new position, and so I'm excited to kind of be visioning alongside others of what this might look like. But starting off, a huge part of it looks like building lots of relationships. So I plan to reach out to all of our youth workers, our campus workers, other churches throughout the conference, and then just kind of start getting to know people and figure out what does your current context and your location look like. I also want to start compiling lots of resources and engaging with organizations that are local to each of our contexts and states within our conference. So that way we can help people connect within the community that they are in as well. And then finally, at some point down the road, I'd like to start gathering stories of LGBTQ identifying individuals as young people or older as well, and what it means for them to be a part of the church and to feel affirmed and welcomed in our church spaces.
Wonderful, Courtney. How can churches begin to partner with you in these very beginning stages?
So one of the ways that churches can begin to partner with me is to just reach out. You can contact me at nextgen@mountainskyumc.org for my email. And then also I'm going to start hosting Zoom office hours at some point. I haven't quite set the date for that yet, so I'm just looking ahead on my calendar. And I'll be sure to share those with communications and in announcements as well. So we'll get the word out for those, and folks can just pop in, say hello, and we can get to know one another. And then also just being patient as we all kind of adjust in this time, and I'll probably reach out to them eventually if they haven't contacted me first.
This
Absolutely.
is one of the many places where we will see a transition and a new start in the midst of a crisis time. And I think Courtney is a wonderful example of getting started and using digital platforms as part of their ministry with us. We want to thank you for joining us this week, and we will be with you next week for another weekly update.
You are joining us for the weekly Mountain Sky Conference update. You can find out more information at mtnskyumc.org or on our Facebook page.